Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope all is well with you and yours. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Also, check out my YouTube music channel. I'm Jamie Totten, and this is Here's the Thing. Today, some WNBA, some NBA, and, of course, the election watch. Okay, let's start with the WNBA. So the playoffs have started for the WNBA. There are 8 teams in the playoffs, and the first round is the best of 3. So let's take a look at the games that have been played. Okay, you have the New York Liberty against the Atlanta Dream. The Liberty won that game 83-69. And you have the Connecticut Sun against the Indiana Fever. The Connecticut Sun beat the Indiana Fever 93-69. You have the Minnesota Lynx against the Phoenix Mercury. Okay, the Lynx beat the Mercury 102-95. And back-to-back champion Las Vegas Aces are taking on Seattle Storm. The Aces beat the Storm 78-67. Okay, some awards, some regular season awards. Caitlin Clark won the WNBA Rookie of the Year in a unanimous decision. And no surprise at all. Also, no surprise, A'ja Wilson won her 3rd MVP of the Year award. It also was a unanimous decision. The Aces are looking to three-peat, and these playoffs should be really good and very interesting. So get your popcorn, and if I was you, I'd check them out. Those girls, they really play hard. And you have the Las Vegas Aces. They are trying to three-peat. Yeah, they're trying to three-peat. And they have the MVP of the last 2 seasons in A'ja Wilson. She be putting in that work. And the New York Liberty and the Connecticut Sun, they are top teams. Yeah. And the Lynx. So the top teams are the New York Liberty, the Connecticut Sun, the Lynx, and of course, Las Vegas. They are the top dogs. Okay, so the three-peat is on. That's what Vegas is after. They're after that three-peat. And they could get it, but you got some strong teams waiting for them. That's for sure. So like I said, get your popcorn. It should be very interesting. Okay, let's go to a little NBA. So I was thinking of the centers. What center could play back in the 80s, 90s, early 90s, and probably could play in today's game also. The person that comes to my mind, first person that comes to my mind is Shaq. You know, Shaq came in at the end of Jordan's reign, you know, so he was like bridging that gap between the earliest centers and the centers that were about to come in. So, Shaq. I think he could have played in both eras. Um, like I say, he kind of bridged the gap between the centers of the 80s and the new age centers. But Shaq never changed his power game. So I'll start with Shaq. And now that I think of it, that's where I'll end it at also, with Shaq. Yeah. Because it takes some very, very tough guys to have to play in that 80s game. You know, and like I said, Shaq never changed his game. His game was power all the way. So, you know, I'll start and end with Shaq as that player that could have played in the 80s, 90s, and the era that followed. And it's mostly because of his size and strength. Although Shaq was big and he could run the floor, he could run up and down the court like the centers pretty much do today. And he could bang with the likes of Moses Malone. And you know, Moses was a banging banger. That was him. Moses would bang you, get his own rebound 5 times and put it back up till he scored, with all kinds of people hanging on his back. Yeah, that was some good stuff. And then you had Patrick. You know, he had that jumper falling away, but he was a tough cat. He was tough. I don't think he was as tough as Shaq, but he was tough. And you had big Mark Eaton. Goodness gracious, Shaq would have to move him around. That was a big guy, man. Mark Eaton. And you had that smooth Jack Sikma with the shot behind his head and all that kind of stuff. Jack Sikma. And you had bad boy Bill Laimbeer. Oh my God, I know that would have been a serious knockdown drag out, man. Bill Laimbeer and Shaq, that would have been something. You know, I definitely would like to have seen Shaq, though, play against Darryl Dawkins. You know, Chocolate Thunder is what he called himself. He played with the Doctor. You know, Chocolate Thunder, Darryl Dawkins with all kinds of dunks and saying he was hanging out on Lovetron or something. Dr. Darryl Dawkins was a wild guy, man. Yeah, I would like to see him going against Shaq. Dawkins was breaking backboards, though, before, with his dunks, before Shaq and them. You know, he was breaking the backboards, glass flying everywhere. And knowing those two, I'm sure by the end of that game, or probably by the end of the first half, they'd have been fighting, Shaq and Darryl Dawkins. Rest in peace, Darryl Dawkins. Yeah, Darryl Dawkins. Yeah, man, they would have been fighting by the end of that first half. Let alone the end of the game, they might not have made it to the end of the game. You know, like what happened with Shaq and Charles Barkley. Yeah, those two that was some crazy times in the NBA, man. They called it basket brawl, you know. And then you had two of the fights that I remember, big fights, was number one was I was a youngin', Rudy Tom Janovich. Yeah, Rudy Tom Janovich. You know, getting his jaw shattered by Kermit Washington in a basketball game. They were brawling. Everybody was out there on the court swinging at each other. You know, and that pretty much ended both those people's careers. You know, Rudy had his jaw shattered, and that cat caught a charge behind that, I believe, you know. Yeah, Kermit, I think Kermit might have caught a charge. I know he didn't play too much after that. Yeah. I remember it was another big brawl where Doctor just sat in the middle of the court, Dr. J, Julius Erving, while everybody was running around crazy and fighting and throwing punches at each other. Doc sitting in the middle of the court. Like, I ain't part of this. So don't even try to come up and punch me. You know? Yeah, that was crazy, man. Crazy times. And then the second biggest one was the Malice at the Palace. I remember that like it was yesterday. Just watching that on my television. The cats just broke out fighting. Well, that was crazy. Detroit Pistons versus the Indiana Pacers in 2004. The Malice at the Palace. Now, it started when Ben Wallace pushed Ron Artest because Artest fouled him or something. It was like at the end of the game. You know, few minutes left in the game. And all hell broke loose. Players was fighting players, and players went up in the stand fighting the fans, and you know, and a bunch of people got suspended. And 9 players were suspended for a total of 146 games. 9 players. But the thing was, Ron Artest, he got suspended for 86 games. Goodness gracious, son. Goodness gracious. So, you know, he got suspended for a whole season and a couple of games. Goodness gracious. So when people say the NBA ain't like it used to be, all I can say is, thank God. Thank God for that. All that taking people out of the air and knocking people to the floor, you know, people 3-4 feet off the damn floor, you slamming them to the floor. Oh my God, man, that was some crazy basketball. It wasn't all the players though. You know, I don't know any great players that actually played like that. No, just some enforcers, you know, coming off the bench, you know. Like, you know, low-skilled, tough guys. You know, your job is just to go out there and be a tough guy. You know, foul Jordan, foul the best players, you know. Take them out the air. Nah, man. Once Jordan got his stuff together, the NBA was like, no, we ain't gonna let you hurt Jordan. That guy is the cash cow. You know? He's bringing all the people to the games. We can't let you take him out. So, and came the Jordan rules. To me, the Jordan rules were, hey, don't be knocking Jordan around. You know, I don't know what the Pistons were talking about, Jordan rules. Our Jordan rules was to take him out the air, but the NBA's Jordan rules was, hey, keep your hands off Jordan. I mean, you can touch him up, but all this taking him to the floor ain't gonna happen. We need him. The NBA needs him. We don't need to be hurt laying up somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, they had these couple of enforcers that come in off the bench, you know. Only reason out there was to ugly the game up, you know. Just ugly the game up. It's foul. Use all your fouls against this one player, you know. So, you know, that was basketball. But this free-flowing game, to me, is a lot more fun to watch, you know. A lot more fun. So I'm cool with where the game is right now, the NBA. But yeah, Shaq could have went out there and toughed it up with Parrish and all those guys, and Eaton and Moses. But if I was you, I mean, Moses would be a tough task. I could tell you that. Moses Malone would have been a tough task for Shaq. But Shaq probably would have got him because Shaq is 7 feet and just big as heck. So, okay, now the election watch. I was talking yesterday about misinformation having an effect on the election. Now, Janet Jackson, she says she has her doubts if Vice President Harris is black, saying she heard or read something that the Vice President's father is white. It doesn't matter if her father was black or white, but her father was black. So you read somewhere, come on, Janet, you're better than that. She also said, and it doesn't matter who wins, because whoever wins is going to be mayhem. So Janet is misinformed, to say the least, but we're not. So we know the difference between someone that's all for himself and someone who's out to help the people. You know, someone who's out to help the people live a better, more comfortable, and more safe life. We know that there is a big difference between what's going on with the Republican Party and what's going on with the Democratic Party. We know that. So like I said, Janet is misinformed, but we are not. We are not at all. We're not misinformed. So early voting has started in Virginia, and I will be casting my vote very soon. So this guy Robinson, right, the guy running for governor of North Carolina, didn't drop out the race. He didn't drop out the race. And no one is really trying to make him drop out the race from the Republican Party. So that tells you the type of people that Trump will surround himself with if he gets back into the White House. I mean, with J.D. Vance as his VP, his vice president, do you think they would ever leave if they got back in there? After January 6th, I don't think so. Now, with that being said, we don't need those people to be the leaders of our nation. Simply because they are not good people. They are liars and they are cheats. I mean, they tell you lies all the time that you can fact check. Fact check. So, you know, anytime they stand around and lie and then double and triple down on the lies, just mean that they aren't capable. The Republicans are a party that's hell-bent on separating us. It's them, it's those people, it's them over there, and they are taking this from you, and that should be yours, and no. But that's their platform. You know, try to divide and conquer. You know, that's the platform they're running on. Like I say, don't boo, vote. Vice President Harris is running on unity, so let's keep on keeping on. Let's get out there. Let's cast our votes. Let's spread the word and keep moving forward, people. And once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.